What is going on, YouTube? Tonight we have another massive 12-game NBA slate. In this video, I'll try to share some of my top player prop picks for the games tonight. If you watched my video yesterday, I apologize. We didn't sweep the board again. That's going to happen. We're not going to win every single night. I cashed a Jimmy Butler parlay filler, but we missed on the Kuminga over, and we definitely missed on the SGA under. But hey, it's the NBA. That's just going to happen. You're not going to win every single bet every single day. But in the long run, as you can tell, I've done this for a long time. I'm very profitable. So if you stick with it for the long term, you will make a lot of money tailoring my plays and mixing and matching all the plays from my YouTube videos. Before I get into the picks for tonight, a couple housekeeping items. Number one, as always, join the free Discord server. It's completely free to join. Come in, be an active member of our community, post screenshots of your bets, post your sweats, just be active. We have about 1,700 people in the server and we're really growing, and it gets really active this time of year with the NBA and the NFL going on. And then secondly, this video is just a preview of all of my picks. It's a bunch of my free plays. If you want to see every single bet that I place, like a screenshot of every single slip that I make on PrizePicks, Underdog, Sleeper, Hard Rock, you name it, you will need to sign up for the VIP. And if you want to be a VIP, there's a link located in the description below that will give you a 7-day free trial if you want to check out that experience of what I do for those people over there. Basically, it's the same thing that you'll see here on YouTube, but you get the plays earlier, you get a longer write-up with it, like a full written article, blog post, and then you get screenshots of every single slip that I make, so you can literally tell exactly what I'm betting every single night. All right, so let's get into the plays here. I'll be using Outlier like normal to talk about the plays. This is my research tool. If you want to try out Outlier, it is a paid subscription website, and there is a link in the description if you wanted to test out Outlier. But pretty sweet site. I use it every day, and it saves me so much time, honestly. Instead of looking through game logs, I can just click on a player, and it shows me everything that I want to see. All right, so the first play for tonight, we're going back to a play that I was on opening night too. And the lines actually moved a little bit. I initially posted this at 31.5, but it's Austin Reeves over 32.5 PRA. The main reasoning for this, obviously he dropped 40 PRA in night one, playing 36 minutes against the Warriors, shooting 9 of 16 from the field. He went 26, 5, and 9. Really good game for Austin Reeves. But the main reasoning behind this, obviously, no LeBron James for the Lakers tonight. He's going to be out for a bit. And Luka Doncic is in because you do need to filter for Luka because he's a very high usage player. So there's been 6 games the last 2 seasons where we've had this scenario for Austin Reeves. He's averaging 38.33 PRA per game. He went over this 32.5 number at all 6 times, and it's just a really solid bet. I'm actually kind of shocked they gave us this number again. I was expecting it to go up to like 34.5 or maybe even like 35.5, but hey, we'll just keep writing it down here while they're giving it to us. And then it's kind of like a twofer, so a parlay filler that I'm on for Reeves, and it's pretty much a lock. This Austin Reeves over 24.5 PRA. If you want to goblin it on PrizePicks, I certainly will be doing it and combining it with some of these other plays I'm talking about in this video. But I mean, this is, it's the same. It's literally the same play with a discounted line. Like, the play is amazing on the regular line. It's even more amazing on their alternate line. So really good play on Austin Reeves for this as a parlay filler, and then the 32.5 just as a regular bet too. I guess if you want to go even higher with it, like with an alternate line, you probably could go all the way up to like this 37.5 if you wanted to. I don't think I'd go to the 39, but the 37.5 as a demon play is really not too bad on PrizePicks, and as an alternate line on FanDuel plus 225, it's okay too. So anyways, this Austin Reeves prop is one of my favorite props of the night. The next one, you guys probably aren't going to like, but I'm going to like it, and I love betting unders. We're going with Victor Wembanyama under 43.5 PRA, coming off a 40-point, 15 rebound game against the Mavs. You're not going to like this play. A lot of people don't like betting unders. I personally love to bet the unders, specifically Wemby unders when he is on the road. This was a thing last year. He went under this number 19 out of 24 games last year. Granted, he looked amazing in night one. However, if you look at the metrics a little deeper, this was actually his best shooting performance of his career. He went, 15 of 21, right? Last game against the Mavs. He has never shot over 65% in the game. He shot 71% the other night. I just think he just had a really good game, and that's why he went over this number. It's going to happen with these stars once in a while. They're going to show up. They're going to have a massive game, like break the slate, or, kind of like the SGA play last night. But, if we're looking at the big picture here, he has a couple big games mixed in on the road last year. Usually it's the big games, once against the Knicks, once against the Nuggets, and then, once against the Wizards, which is an easy matchup for him. But, 79% of the time going under this number last year, I think there is something to that. And generally with these younger players, they do perform worse on the road than they do at home. So I'm going to go with this under. It could burn me, and that's fine. I'm okay with taking the chance on it. That's just kind of the player I am. But this under 43.5 for Wemby is another one of my favorite plays for tonight. Another play we're going to be on is another young guy. We are going with Cooper Flagg over 23.5 points and rebounds. So he actually quietly had a double-double in his first game the other night, and he shot 4 out of 13 from the field, which was really bad. I was really impressed with his usage and his minutes. He ended up playing 31.5 minutes in his first game, which is impressive for a rookie, and especially a 1-1. You usually don't see these guys just coming in playing just all these minutes right off the bat. So I'm really glad to see that with Cooper Flagg. At Duke, he was a double-double machine. He put up really big scoring numbers, and this 23.5 number, considering he got to 20 last game, shooting 4 of 13, I'd expect him to shoot a little bit better tonight, maybe even take a couple more shots in a really good matchup against the Wizards tonight too. So I like this over 23.5 on the points and rebounds. I guess my only hesitation on it is they do have Anthony Davis, who does kind of has those big rebound games here and there, and it might steal some rebounds away from Flagg. But I think Cooper Flagg can easily make it up with the scoring, and honestly, he's the starting point guard, so he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. And when you have the ball in your hands, you also could lead the free throws. See with like SGA and see these other guys, the more times you have the ball in your hands, the more opportunities you have to score. So that's what I like to see with Flagg. Really excited to see what he's going to turn out and be as a rookie. My fourth play here is Peyton Pritchard. Where is it? Peyton Pritchard over 25.5 PRA. So he also didn't go over in his first game. He only ended with 23 PRA on 6 of 14 shooting, but 1 of 7 from 3. The Celtics live and die by the 3. And the Knicks gave up 19 3-pointers to the Cavs on opening night, which was the most in the NBA. So they're already giving up a lot of 3-pointers. The Celtics chucked them a lot. We just have to hope that some of these shots fall for Pritchard. Basically, I think he shoots a tad better than this 1 for 7 from 3. Maybe he goes like 3 for 9 or something like that. I'm not expecting, like a 6 for 8 shooting performance for him or anything. But I do think he shoots a bit better, but he played massive minutes. He played 37 minutes last game. And if I filter for games last year where he played 35 plus minutes, so we'll go 35 plus minutes to the bar. We'll go last 20 games or so because there's only a 10-game sample. He averages 33.3 PRA in the sample, never going below 23. So 23 is his floor, which is only 2.5 points below this 25.5 PRA. So he has a really high floor. And when you have a floor that's close to the number, I'm always going to take this play because he's going to come close every time. And it doesn't take much to go over the number. So that's just kind of how I think through these things sometimes. Hopefully you guys take a little bit of insight from that. If they're consistently getting near this number and playing all these minutes, the opportunities are there. Eventually the shots are going to fall, or, you're going to get some extra assists because your teammates' shots will fall, and you will tick over this number in the long term. So this is the kind of way you have to treat things in the NBA, a bit different than the NFL season. All right, so that's all the regular plays tonight. Now we're going to move over to the parlay fillers, which are the Green Goblin plays. Like I always say, the way to play these is by either combining them all together, mixing and matching with the regular plays so you can get them at like even money. There's just so many ways you can play them. And one thing I want to touch on before getting in these parlay fillers, I do love my first half props, the first half points, the first half PRA. I'm not sharing these in the video today. You will need to see them in VIP, but I honestly haven't gone through those just yet. But I wanted to get this video out to you guys earlier today. Usually Underdog Fantasy, PrizePicks releases those lines earlier. Like I think they released Trae Young's last night at like 2 a.m. or something. But I usually wait until Underdog releases the first half props because their lines are usually a bit better than PrizePicks on those. But anyways, I'm getting off a little bit of a tangent here. Let's get into the parlay fillers. First one, Karl Anthony Towns over 8.5 rebounds. We were on this one the other night. I was actually on over 7.5 rebounds the other night, and they're just not giving it to us again, which makes complete sense, to be honest with you. But basically, no Mitchell Robinson. And if I filter for games last year without Mitchell Robinson, he averaged 13.2 rebounds per game, going over this number 54 out of 58 times. Last game, he had 11 rebounds on only 31 minutes. I expect that to be around what his minutes are going to be this year. He's probably not going to play the 40 to 42 minutes he was playing last year in some of these games. And he does have a little bit of injury concerns too. He is questionable tonight again. He was actually doubtful going into the first game of the season, but I think with the Mitchell Robinson news, they were just like, I got to throw Cat out there and have him play. One thing though, if Josh Hart does play, it might lead to Towns sitting tonight potentially, but if he sits, then you just take the void, so it doesn't really matter either way. But anyways, this over 8.5 rebounds on the alternate line is a solid play for Cat. I think his regular line's 11.5, which it's solid because if you filter for games without Robinson, it's a 59% hit rate. At home, it's only a 52% hit rate, so it's okay. But I'd rather just take my chances on the alternate line and pair it with the Pritchard play with a same game parlay or something. The other play I touched on for the parlay filler was that Reeves prop I talked about earlier in the video. And then I've got one more for you guys. It is Cam Thomas over 14.5 points. So this Nets team, total ass. I'll be honest, they're really bad. It pains me. I'm actually a lifelong Nets fan, so I've been going through this my entire life here. But Cam Thomas is actually a solid player, and they really don't have anyone else. Look at the starting lineup. Seraph, Thomas, Mann, Porter, Claxton. It's just a bunch of okay guys. There's nobody good. But anyways, Thomas has played 26 games over the last 2 seasons. He's gone over this 14.5 number every single game except for one where we had 13. And this even includes games where he played 20 minutes, including last game. He only played 24 minutes. He shot a terrible 2-9 from the field. Didn't make a three-pointer, but he got to the line a lot, and that's usually what he does. So that's why he ticked over this number. I expect players to usually shoot a little bit closer more to their average. So he shot 22% last night. Going back to last season, he shot 44%. So you got to expect him to make a couple of extra baskets just on the regular during the game instead of free throws. But this 14.5 number just seems a little bit too low, even if he does just play 25 minutes. And it is a difficult matchup against the Cavaliers defense. But that's going to wrap things up. That is all of my plays for tonight. Like I mentioned earlier, join the free Discord server. Really good community in there. If you want to pop in, post your plays, just chat up. If you have any questions or anything too, I'm always active in there. And I might even do some more educational content in there moving forward. But we'll see how the time goes and everything. And then lastly, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you want to see all of my slips, every single bet that I'm actually placing on Underdog, PrizePicks, and Sleeper and all that, you'll have to sign up for VIP. That link's in the description below, but it also gives you a 7-day free trial to try it out. And honestly, you'll make enough money in one day to pay for the subscription. I keep the price as low as I possibly can. But I appreciate you guys sticking around to the end of the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see me do more things like this. I have a NFL video probably coming out tomorrow morning for my Week 8 picks on Sunday. And I'll have an NBA video. I might have one for Saturdays on the side. I usually take weekends off for NBA. But, best of luck on your bets tonight, and I appreciate you guys watching. Have a good one, guys.